Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I say all three because whether you are joining us live or later on demand, we want to welcome you to the second session of the Insight 2021 webinar series. We are so excited to bring an all-star team together with you to talk personally about starting your own trucking business, where the rubber meets the road. My name is Leah Shaver, and I'll serve as host and moderator of our expert panel. I want to thank you, all of you, for what you are doing to keep our country moving through this difficult time. Thank you to those of you who work from sunup to sunset and all the time before, after, and in between, especially taking the time to join us today. During the coronavirus pandemic, the recent winter storm, that left roads undrivable, store shelves unstocked, truck stops and amenities closed, as professional truck drivers continue to deliver necessities across North America. I am cheering for you, I worry about you, I hope the best for you, and today we are so happy to connect with you. Before we introduce our panelists, and as we give attendees a moment to join us, I'll share a couple of notes about today's webinar. First of all, the Insight 2021 online series is being presented by Expediter Services. ES is a leader in capacity solutions and ownership opportunities. Expediter Services is pleased to have Stoops Freightliner serve as the title sponsor for Insight 2021. Our webinar series is only part of the Insight 2021 series. ES is also producing the Insight 2021 podcast series. Through the podcast, we offer listeners an in-depth look at key issues and opportunities in the trucking industry. To listen to the podcast series and to get the latest news on Insight 2021, please visit the web address on your screen. I want to share a couple of pointers about the webcast platform that we're using today. First of all, if you are viewing on your phone or mobile device, we recommend that you turn your phone to the side or the landscape position. This will give you the widest possible screen for viewing the slides. We have included the contact information for ES and the ES web address at the bottom of every slide. This is a live webcast and we are taking your questions. If you have an ask or interest, please send it to us through the question platform. We are planning to answer some of your questions at the end of the event. If we are not able to answer live during the session, we will respond via email. If you are watching the replay of today's webcast, I still encourage you to submit your questions through the question platform as well, because those will be answered by email. Now, if you happen to encounter a technical issue during today's event, please use the question platform, describe the technical issue you are experiencing. We have a dedicated team member who will respond to you to address technical issues related to the webinar platform. Expediter Services is pleased to welcome Panther Premium Logistics, a Service of ArcBest, the first motor carrier in the spotlight during 2021 Insight Start Your Own Trucking Business, where the rubber meets the road series. As we will do with all of our motor carrier spotlights, this webinar will be focused on the key considerations that owner-operators, independent contractors, and aspiring entrepreneurs should review during the carrier recruiting process. Joining me for today's discussion are Cory Robertson, Account Manager, Fleet Recruiting, Panther Premium Logistics, a Service of ArcBest. David Withers, Senior Director of Operations at Expediter Services, and Meghan Turner, Director of Recruiting at Expediter Services. Some brief introductions with each of us as we get started. I own and operate the National Transportation Institute, where we serve information and support to folks that employ or contract with professional drivers or work with companies that do. We aim for companies to deliver opportunities for fleets to grow, to attract additional workers, and then expand in their marketplace with that appropriately compensated, engaged, and retained workforce. We also work with other vendor service organizations to help them expand in the trucking industry. I serve as an officer on the board of directors of the Women in Trucking Association, on the board of directors for the Next Generation in Trucking Association, and I work part-time as a talk radio host on SiriusXM's Road Dog Trucking Radio. You can catch me live the first Thursday of every month from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern on Road Dog Live and on demand on the SiriusXM app. When it comes to the topic at hand, for 26 years, NTI has concentrated our studies on professional driver wages, best practices, and programs. We analyze nearly every aspect that relates to professional drivers, from before they enter the industry to training, to perks and programs, to owner-operator success, and everything that impacts the trucking industry and market, and most importantly, influences on professional driver paychecks, like capacity, supply, and demand. Successful organizations have to monitor rapidly changing conditions, manage expectations, and leave room to pivot when necessary. It is crucial at all times to monitor economic conditions that impact your business and align with folks that protect your business by knowing your business and supporting your goals and knowledge bank during both certain and uncertain times. Despite the pandemic, we are operating in an environment that I've been quoted referring to as 2018 with complications. We have an incredibly high demand, rates continue to escalate, but we are net short capacity in most markets. There has never been a better time for folks to become owners in the industry, to grow their fleets, and to evolve their businesses. Cory Robertson is the account manager for fleet recruiting for Panther Premium Logistics, a service of ArcBest. With more than 10 years of experience in driver recruiting and operations, Cory oversees the recruiting efforts at Panther Premium as it pertains to helping fleet owners grow their fleet. Cory understands the unique challenges and opportunities that exist in today's current market. We appreciate you letting us put the spotlight on you today, Cory. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Leah. I'm really excited to be part of the webinar series. Thank you.
Glad to have you. David Withers now serves as the Senior Director of Operations for Expediter Services after working his first 4 years with ES as the Director of Recruiting. A native of Texas, where he played college football, David is entering his 27th year working within the transportation industry. David's experience in trucking has been primarily focused on driver recruiting and contractor relations. Glad to have you join us today, David.
Great to be here, Leah. We appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Meghan Turner serves as the Director of Recruiting for Expediter Services. She began her career in transportation in 2009 with Roadmaster Driver School, and after 10 years of experience in the trucking industry, found a home with ES in 2019. From the start, Meghan quickly displayed her talent for relationship building in her initial role as a recruiter, advancing in 2020 to now serve as Director of Recruiting for Expediter Services. Having excelled at several sports, Meghan notes that she learned through her days in athletics how to recruit the best players to join her team. Welcome, and thank you for joining us, Meghan.
Hey, Leah. Thank you for having me.
Now, David, I'm going to hand it off to you to reintroduce the ES family of companies and why potential owners want to be on the front side of this curve, establishing, building, foundational growth, and then share a little bit more about the community.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to start out by saying thank you, Leah, for moderating this event, this webinar, and we want to thank Cory and Panther Premium Logistics, Service of ArcBest, as a core carrier with us for joining and for allowing Cory to be on the call as well. And of course, we really appreciate the audience that's out there today, all the drivers, contractors, just various people that are listening and on board today. We really appreciate you taking the time to stop and listen. So, moving into ES and who we are, obviously, we see that we have many advantages to our company. We have the opportunity for anyone that wants to own a truck, anybody that wants to drive a truck for the most part as well. We've got opportunities for all people. We've got opportunities for contractors, for PTO owner, rental drivers as well, and PTO path to ownership program, as well as owner operators. So ES is here where our sole purpose is to help others, realize the dream of owning their own truck, but not only realizing the dream of owning your own truck, but also providing support from the ground level up, not from the top down, but from the ground level up. We're here to help each person that comes through, our organization and wants to find a capacity provider, equipment provider. We are also a service provider as well as a finance provider to the industry. Our finance side, we do that relationally. So we talk about our PTO program, our Path to Ownership. That's a program that you'll hear a lot about today through this webinar, and we help individuals have the ability to come through, drive in one of our trucks with little risk to themselves, and earn their opportunity to become an owner-operator through ES. So we also, moving on to our community, we have a community of people. We have a community of carriers, of organizations. Obviously, thankfully, we have a core carrier here with Panther Premium Logistics with us today as we're spotlighting them. And we also have a community of individuals, contractors, of owner-operators. That's what makes us who we are, is our entire community. And we provide a community of two individuals and two trucks of support. We provide safety, we provide stability, and we provide profitability as well. The beauty of what we do and who we are, Leah, is that we're real. We're a real company. We're a real opportunity. We provide real ownership. We provide a real community. ES has been in business since 2006. We have a history of helping generate safe, stable, and profitable small businesses. And that's who we are, and that's what we are. And most of all, we want everyone to know that with ES, you never stand alone.
Thank you, David. You mentioned real, and at the risk of sounding cheesy, we are going to get right to where the rubber meets the road, which is why we are all here today. In our last webinar, we introduced you to a team that is thriving in the ES community. They shared experiences with Lee, their ES service coordinator, who, unbeknownst to the ES president, Jason Williams, delivers a relationship that the Horns can count on every day, above and beyond the company's expectations. After our team identified the title and concept of this webinar series, where we profiled the partner motor carriers in the ES community, I received an email from the CEO of a large trucking company. In an unrelated conversation, his response to me was, they like to say they do, but when the rubber meets the road, they seem to disappear. Now, again, unrelated to ES and to any of the conversation here, but it's interesting how he used the same term that we're talking about here, where the rubber meets the road. This is why we have the premise of the thoughts that we want to share with you today. We aren't introducing you to executives on the team, but rather to the folks on the front lines that you would interact with daily. The thoughts that they have, the message that they promote, and the experiences that they want to share. Learn how ES and Panther Premium Logistics have partnered to create a simple and straightforward way to be your own boss. You will also learn the many reasons why the motto at ES, as David said, is that you never stand alone. So, David, I'm going to toss it back to you. You've always been focused on helping others, whether that assistance is manifested physically, mentally, or emotionally. Talk to us about what it's like to make a difference in someone's life, and what has stood out to you in terms of the folks whose dreams you've supported over the years at ES.
Absolutely, Leah. So, one thing we believe at ES is that everyone has a story. And, through that story, we have individuals that have come to us. The 4 years that I was in the position of recruiting and recruiting manager at ES, I've heard it all. I've heard bad lease purchase experience stories. I've heard, bad stories about carrier experience that somebody had, bad truck experience. There's just experiences, unfortunately, in this industry, and a lot of bad ones that drivers encounter on a daily, monthly, and weekly basis and yearly basis, through the transportation industry. And even I've got a story. When I started with ES back in 2017, I came to ES out of a number of carriers. I came directly from a carrier, a tanker carrier. And, I've had 25 plus years experience with carriers in the recruiting side. So, when I sat down with Jason and Jeff, and they presented the opportunity to me of what I would be potentially doing here at Expediter Services, I honestly, it was too good to be true. I went home. I remember flying back to Dallas, Texas, and the entire flight, I really wrestled with my mind about how in the world can these people do exactly what they say they're doing. And I honestly, they sent the offer to me, and I took it, partially just to come in and see what I could figure out that they really didn't do what they said they do. But fortunately, ES does exactly what they say they do. And there was a conversation in the pitch that about our owner operator program and our advantages, ES advantages. We have a fee of $12.50 a week, and Jason had pitched that out there to me, and I heard $12.50, and I thought $1,250. Man, that's a lot of money, but hey, it must be some really good advantages. And then I had to question them afterwards, and I found out that it was actually $12.50 a week. So for as little as $50 a month, and then it flipped to the flip side of how in the world can they do that and help others like they do and like we do for that little bit of money. But that's what the beauty of partnering with Panther Premium Logistics, that they help us to be able to provide the service and just the community that we help provide to the industry.
Awesome. So getting down to the real. Now, Meghan, in terms of believing in the ES message, what can you tell us about the ability to change people's lives? At least that's the feedback that you get, right? What's unique about working with ES?
Well, David's right. Everyone does have a story, and honestly, being a truck driver is a difficult job, and it just takes the right team to be on your side through the good days and through the bad days. And just here at ES, it's just all about the drivers. You'll learn very quickly that you aren't just a truck number, and we gain a driver's trust, and we build a relationship with you. I want to share a story with you, and it just happened before jumping on this call. I had a driver that called me, and he was previously running with ES probably about 6 or 7 months ago, and he called my cell phone. He said, "Meghan, I've got 2 teams and a solo driver that I gave your number to." And I told him how ES really helped me through the tough times when my wife was sick. And, I think that speaks volumes about our company. To have a driver that's not currently running with ES and hasn't been for 6 months that's still referring people to us, that's the message I want to send to drivers, that we actually care about people.
Awesome. Now, Cory, from the perspective of Panther, if someone approaches you wanting to become an owner, that results in a referral to ES. Can you tell us more about that, about what better way to get into becoming an owner-operator and why you refer them over to ES?
Yeah, absolutely, Leah. Thanks. I've worked with Expediter Services for the past, 7 years that I've been here at Panther, and referring folks over to them, it's really a no-brainer. We work with a lot of folks that call in, they want to get into ownership. Maybe they don't have the right credit score, they don't have the money down, right? Typical, financial institutions, they don't finance the person, they finance a credit score. And with Expediter Services, it's the complete opposite. They're financing the person behind the wheel, and they have their ways of, speaking with folks and ensuring that they're going to be successful. And we've seen a lot of that come through our door here at Panther, and we've seen a lot of success with it. So.
Excellent. Well, while I have you, I'm going to keep the focus on Panther and the opportunities. In the competitive world of transportation, the more folks want to grow and evolve in the market, the more that fleets have to diversify in their offerings. Something that has always struck me about Panther is that if you want it, we've got it. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, absolutely. We have multiple different service lines that folks can come in, and so they can operate with Panther in a bunch of different ways. But I think that some folks know who Panther is. You see the trucks on the road and the big black Panther cat on the side of the trailer, but I might just want to step back and talk about, who is Panther, how do we operate, and then we can go through those service lines that we offer. So, Panther's much different from other. Yeah, definitely. So Panther's, we're much different from other motor carriers and the type of freight we run. So, we're an expedite carrier, and typically we're running unscheduled, unplanned shipments by our customer base. So they're truly calling us in line down, emergency situations. And it's funny, when I first started at Panther, somebody told me that we're like the firefighters of the trucking industry, and I thought that was weird. I think I heard that in my first week, but as time went on, it totally makes sense. I mean, our customers are truly calling us in emergency situations, and majority of the time they're calling and expecting immediate pickup, and so we pick up as quickly as possible, deliver as quickly as possible. We guarantee a 90-minute pickup window on the pickup, and then a 15-minute delivery window upon delivery. So, ultimately they're calling us when the cost of failure outweighs the cost of doing business. So, really, in a nutshell, that's what we do is we run expedite. We do much more than just expedite. And so we also have, our dedicated service lanes. We have customers on both the eastern half of the United States and the western half of the United States that folks can run with, and it gives our contractors the ability to run in a specific geographical area if that's what they're looking for. And so, a lot of folks like that. So you don't like the expedite where you're running 3-4 weeks out at a time, seeing the country. You want to stay more regional. You want to run in and out of the same cities, the same customers, et cetera. We're able to accommodate that with our dedicated freight lanes. So even outside of dedicated, we also have a truckload offering where the contractor's truly working off a load board. So we can give them access to an ArcBest load board, and the contractor's free to pick and choose whatever freight, best suits their interest. So, I think you take a large carrier like Panther, with all the different opportunities, you pair us up with Expediter Services as an equipment provider in the Expediter Services community, and we truly believe we have some of the best opportunities for contractors, owners, and large fleet owners to see, great success. And I think the proof's in the pudding. Over the years, we've seen folks with not so good credit scores, some folks with virtually no credit scores, get financed on a $150,000 piece of equipment through Expediter Services. And we've seen the 1 to 2 truck fleet owners grow from, 1 to 2 to 10 to 20. So, we've seen the success, we know it works, and we look forward to the continued relationship with Expediter Services as we move through 2021.
Well, I heard a lot there, and I'm going to put the ES team on the spot because you introduced several times what we often refer to as relationship-based financing. David, do you want to just touch quickly on that before we talk about the rest of this particular comment?
Yeah, absolutely, Leah. So, we take a few metrics and we look at, and we found that they're successful in determining, a pattern of being able to make a financial decision based upon a relationship, not based upon a credit report, credit history, a bad marriage, gone wrong, divorce, a medical issue, tearing up your credit. We get to know you. We want to know who you are. We look at your attitude, your aptitude. We look at your work ethic and your work history at the carrier, at Panther. And then we also look at how much revenue that you generate while you're on that truck. And, the beauty of it is that ES, you've got a place that truly assumes the vast majority of the risk. So if you're sitting there listening and you're thinking, that sounds like a great opportunity, but, I'm scared there's too much invested. Truly, I tell individuals all the time that I talk to on the phone, interested candidates, that, not to devalue time, because time is very important to all of us. We only have a certain amount of time in this life to make it happen, and I know time is important. But in terms of risk, that's truly the only risk that you're putting in here by making a jump to ES. It's just the risk of a little bit of time to come in, get to know us. I tell people on phone calls all the time, come in, touch us, feel us, sniff us, whatever you want to do. Get to know us. We get to know you. You get to know the carrier. Who wants? I know I don't, but who wants to go and purchase a brand new truck or a used truck blindly from a dealership somewhere or from an individual? Just lease it onto a carrier that you don't even know and hope it works. That's not a real successful plan. With ES, you have the ability to come over here, use our equipment, get to know us, get to know the carrier, and we partner all that together, and then we make a financial decision to finance individuals on a truck, a new or used truck. So that's what we provide. And then even further beyond that, we don't just leave you out there to figure it out on your own. We build a community around you. We talk about community a lot, and you hear that word a lot, but it truly is a true community. We have an operations department here. We have service coordinators. Those service coordinators, their primary job and focus is to help you grow your small business. To help you, they have data, they have tools that they can utilize. They provide that to the truck level, to the driver level. They build relationships from the desk level to the truck, from the desk level to the carrier. And the beauty of partnering with Panther, Panther is a great carrier. They're easy to get a hold of. They have human contact with drivers. You're not worried about trying to figure it out all digitally if that's the case. You can pick up the phone and talk to them. They're there for you. They have a stable freight network, and ES has the ability to pick up the phone and from that desk level of that service coordinator and talk to Cory or talk to somebody at Panther in their line haul division or fleet division and figure things out. So you have a full service of support with ES in our community.
Excellent. Well, now I know that I can put you on the spot and you can take it from there. So I'm going to volley back over to Cory. In terms of timing, Cory, we've talked about all of these different options that are available at Panther and about the ease and flexibility of getting financed at ES. In terms of timing, Panther shares that folks can get started quite quickly. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we can get folks up and running into a truck really within 14 days. And so, you think about 2020 and kind of what happened with COVID, and we were forced to go to a digital style orientation, which, at first that was a struggle, but we've really seen some good benefits to it. And so, we're seeing that we can get folks onboarded into the fleet quicker with that digital style orientation. So from the point that somebody fills out an application, we legally have to run their MVR and background check, and there's things that we need to do. Typically we can wrap that up in 48 to 72 hours, send out that digital style orientation. At that point the contractor can complete that orientation from inside their truck or at home, whatever it might be. But that digital orientation piece that we've added in the last 6 to 8 months has really sped up the timing there and how quick we can get folks into trucks. So it's benefited both Panther and the community of contractors that we work with. So.
Excellent. I know that a quick turnaround can be very valuable, especially when someone is eager to get to work and to being profitable. Let's move on to the PTO program and to some of the other opportunities that are available at Panther that I think are really unique. Meghan, let's start first with the Path to Ownership, or as we call it, the PTO program. Can you take that one?
Yes, ma'am. So being an owner-operator has truly never been easier. Our PTO program, which stands for Path to Ownership, is exactly how it sounds. It is a pathway to owning your own truck. We at ES give you the opportunity to basically try it before you buy it. You would run our truck over at Panther Premium Logistics, for the next 3 to 6 months, and during that time we are guiding you, we're shaping you, and we're mentoring you into becoming a successful owner-operator. We give you an opportunity to basically earn your way to ownership. And we do that by basing it off of your attitude and aptitude, your work ethic and work history, and the revenue numbers that you're generating over at the motor carrier. We just want to make sure that you're comfortable and that you're producing enough money to afford a truck payment and, as well as have money left over for your family. But we also pair you up at our office with a service coordinator, and that service coordinator is going to work with you hand in hand, and he's also going to work with the motor carrier to make sure that they're doing their part and they're providing you with the model so you can succeed. It's just good to have someone on your side. And, let's be honest here, kind of like David said earlier, a lot of drivers dream of becoming an owner-operator, and normally what stops a driver from doing that is their credit score or a down payment. And, with ES, we don't care about that. It's not about your credit score, and most of the time we're not asking for a down payment either. We're just asking for you to like us, like the motor carrier, and drive our truck just like you want it. And this is strictly financing based on our relationship with you. And the beauty of our PTO program is you can walk away at any time during that 3 to 6 months, and honestly, you have nothing to lose, but you sure have a lot of gain if it does work out in the end for ownership.
Excellent. All right, so Cory, I want to talk about the straight truck to tractor program as well here. I've seen also some questions coming in about, if you haven't been driving for a while, what the options are. If you're new to the industry, what the options are. And one of the most unique factors of Panther's programs that I've seen is that you allow new entrants to the industry to move from straight trucks to tractors. So leaving trucking school, entering a job at entry-level wages is not glamorous, nor is it easy. So you take someone who's been really excited and getting trained, getting educated, investing in school, and they come out of that, and it's really very challenging from an income standpoint. So talk to us about the folks that want to get going right away and how your programs can even over-deliver on a new driver expectation.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do, like you mentioned, we have a program. It's what we call our straight truck to tractor program. And I know, today before the webinar, we're getting on here, and I gave some thought to that. And I really had to put myself in the contractor or driver's shoes. So you think about it, you go to school, you get your Class A CDL, you want to come, run truck, you start calling some carriers. Majority of them are going to want 6 months experience. 12 months experience. I think I've heard of some carriers even requiring up to 2 years experience to get into the tractor. And so I think you step back and think, well, how do I get any experience if nobody's giving me the chance to get that experience, if that makes sense? So, we've developed a program which we see a lot of value in. Again, we call it our straight truck to tractor program. And what the opportunity is we could bring in, if you have a Class B CDL, maybe you have that Class A CDL, but you come in with Panther, we can run you under one of our Class B straight trucks. You'd run that truck for 6 months with Panther. After the 6-month time frame, we put those folks through a refresher course. So we have a school locally up here in Ohio. You'd go to a refresher course, and it goes through backing and maneuverability with the tractor and things like that, just to kind of brush you up on it. But after that 1-week course, we can move those folks immediately into the tractor with really virtually no experience. Their only experience would be the 6 months in the straight truck plus the 1-week refresher course. And so the program's worked out, really well for us. So, and we've utilized that a lot, with Expediter Services drivers and contractors, and we've seen a lot of success. Folks that are just starting out and they want to get into trucking, and now today, 5-10 years later, they own 2, 3, 4 trucks, and they've seen a lot of success, and a lot of it has stemmed from that straight truck to tractor program. So
I can see why, Cory. I mean, of all of the things that have come across my desk recently, from the perspective of drivers that I've been talking to for the 20 years in my career, the most frequent question that's often unable to be served is a driver that either doesn't have experience, and as you said, how can you get experience if no one is willing to put in the time for you, or the security and the trust, right, to gain that experience. So that's a really big deal. And then there's also folks that as I said, getting in as a new entrant isn't an easy time, nor is it glamorous. And sometimes folks dip their toe in and they don't get, snatched up, right, and really thrive and succeed. And so they back out and they end up needing a refresher course. And so you're suggesting that not only can they can achieve that in the straight truck, but then, going through the refresher course as well. So I think this is pretty awesome. And I have to say the revenue potential has to be pretty strong here, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, tractor's a bigger truck. You're hauling more freight, and in turn, you're making more money. And so, you do see folks that come out of schools and they get the Class B CDL. They want to try out trucking, see how it goes. They learn the industry, they see success, they're doing well. Well, hey, let me bump up to the tractor, get into that bigger truck, and that increases their earning potential substantially. So.
David, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, Leah, I just wanted to say from ES's perspective on the straight truck to tractor program, and being somebody that has actually sold that program, to individuals that we have dealt with. The beauty of the straight truck to tractor program is it gives you the ability. It opens up your recruiting for sure, because individuals that may have, like Cory said, have come out of trucking school, but also, especially as we've seen during COVID, a lot of trucking schools had to close down and shut down shop for a while. And if that happened to you and you're wanting to get into the industry, you've got the ability to go out there and potentially, get your Class A on your own through your state, and you can, check that out and how to do that. But it gives you an opportunity to come directly into a straight truck as a team and run, and instead of making pennies on the dollar through a trucking school or through a carrier going through their trucking school, you can make dollars, true dollars, as a team on the straight truck, and then transition over and utilize that Class A to allow you more earning power long term with the Class A in a tractor as well.
Well, and to that, there's really something to be said when it comes to teaming. When professional drivers ask me, whether on the air or off, how can I earn more money? One of the greatest things you can do is be one of the, top 3 highest in demand, professionals in the industry, and that's to work as a team, right? One of the best earning opportunities for a professional driver, but even more so as an owner. Would you agree, David?
Oh, absolutely, Leah. Absolutely.
So just talk about, when it comes to the equipment, ES has the equipment to provide for the straight trucks and then also transition into a tractor. Can you talk about that? Yeah,
absolutely. So, we have equipment available, and at Panther, we've got straight trucks, we've got tractors that we have the opportunity to finance on and to also drive. As a contract driver, as a PTO driver, we have all types of different avenues for anybody that wants to drive at Panther to do so, whether it be a straight truck or a tractor. And we have financing to help as well when they come in and they go through our PTO program, as Meghan had mentioned. And we just have the ability to put them into ownership, partnering with Panther. And again, you call us, and I promise you, we're going to make a truck available for you, whether we got equipment or not. And trust me, we have equipment.
Excellent. All right. Well, let's toss it back here to the ladies. I mentioned earlier that I serve on the board of directors of the Women in Trucking Association. My passion for helping fleets grow the percentage of women in trucks and in management goes beyond that, though. It's certainly been impacted often by being the only or one of the few women in the boardroom and working with companies new each week that say, we have fewer than single-digit percentages of women represented at our company. How can we do more? The companies that NTI tracks with the highest percentage of women offer opportunities to grow, to lead, to team, and to prosper. 38% of the workers served at ES are women. That's nearly 4 times the national average, and I feel that those numbers tell a story. Now, ES launched in partnership with Women in Trucking the 150 Women-Owned Business Challenge. I know that Panther is led by a woman and extremely proud to support both Women in Trucking and the ES 150 Challenge. Cory, ES has helped more than 250 drivers, including more than 100 women, become owner-operators within the Panther fleet just during the last 18 months. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Leah, Panther we're a member of Women in Trucking, and we have been for years. Right now, 24% of our fleet is comprised of women. I believe last year was 22. I think the year prior was 20. So we've seen a gradual increase year over year, which is a great story. We're proud of that increase, and we're proud of the partnership with Expediter Services, and knowing we're creating opportunities for women in the industry, and to see both organizations come together and do that is fantastic.
I have to just make the assumption that with all of the growth of women at ES and the strong partnership that exists between Panther and ES, that growth has to be connected in terms of the relationship. So I love hearing that you've gone up by another 2%. As you know, we track that for the industry, but we also celebrated at Women in Trucking, and then of course for me personally. So congratulations! I love those figures. Meghan, as a woman with over 10 years in the industry, talk to us about helping other women generate their own business opportunities. And if you don't mind me asking, even touch on your own experience working at a company where so many women are supported and encouraged to thrive, not just survive.
Yeah, Leah, I think this is a perfect time to talk about women in trucking. The month of March is actually Women's History Month, and I can't say that being a woman in this industry is easy, but what I can say is that we've earned the respect that we deserve, and we're all go-getters and overachievers, and we're an asset to the trucking industry. And the role I play as a woman in this industry is just to try to bring out the best in others. And Leah, it's really easy to be a recruiter when you truly believe in what you're offering, and it all starts with recruiting. We're laying a platform so that a driver can experience a smooth process from the first conversation to actually seating the truck. And I'm just blessed to be a part of a team that's changing people's lives.
Excellent. It really, that whole thriving, not just surviving, again, as to the driver example that we had from our last webinar, that was one of the largest takeaways for me, hearing an owner-operator share that before partnering with ES, that they were simply surviving. And, describing their life and the opportunities before them now in partnership with ES, that they were truly thriving. And as you said, women not only want to thrive, we can and we do. And so what a great place to do it in a community to have that support. So let's shift over to the community. David, you've shared that ES doesn't stop at financing the truck. Ensuring that independent contractors thrive in partnership requires a different set of priorities than it does company drivers and employees, and that stems from your years of experience working in contractor relations. Can you talk a little bit more about the offerings that support success in trucking, and what has always stood out to you in terms of access and affordability?
Yeah, Leah, I appreciate this opportunity. ES, we don't only level the playing field for women in trucking, and have been beneficial and interested in doing that as well, but we also level the playing field for the driver, the truck, and especially the truck level in terms of the ES advantages. Most trucks can't get some of the discounts and the platforms that through a carrier, even some carriers also just on their own out there looking in the marketplace. It's tough to get insurance. It's tough to get fuel discounts. You can sign up for various cards and things and try to get a little bit of cents per mile off or cents per gallon off. But ES has a true advantage, and our advantage is through our fuel platform. We have an aggressive fuel platform through our partner truck stops with Love's, TA, and Petro. We also, have obviously insurance offerings. We also have, just back service or back office support offerings as well. And we also, part of our advantage is our equipment finance. We have an equipment finance department under our umbrella. We have a truck sales department. So if you're looking for a truck out there today, a new or a used truck, we have a full truck sales fleet and department that you can go online and look at that and pick out a truck as well if you're just wanting to come in and direct finance. We have insurance services and offerings, and we also have management services, the back office support as well. And we have some other partners that we utilize for, to help with tax services. We have a safety platform, and we also have a legal platform as well. So all those combined, offer or comes into our ES advantage. And by choosing Panther as your premier carrier, you have the access to all of the ES advantages. And with Panther and ES partnering together, it's a solution to your success. It truly is the solution. And I just want to add, this. I learned a long time ago from my brother that you never get to sell if you don't ask for it. So I just want to say, if any of this that you've heard today to the audience, if it resonates with you, whether you be a solo driver, whether you be a team driver, whether you're wanting to run a solo straight truck, a team straight truck, a solo tractor, a solo or a team tractor trailer, Panther is the place to do it as a carrier, and ES is the company to help you as an equipment provider and service provider and finance provider. And we really believe that you can realize your dreams. And give us a call today. Call us, connect with us on social media, whatever it may be. If this isn't the right path for you at the moment, maybe it's just not the right crossroads for you, and you've got a friend out there that's looking to buy a truck or that's looking to be an owner-operator, tell them about us. Just and refer them over to us, and we'll definitely appreciate that as well. So just wanted to add that to the conversation, Leah.
As everyone can tell, when David gets excited, he gets really excited. So now everyone knows that. And David, if I get it right, I mean, you're really talking about increasing access and support and decreasing expenses. And you also stole one of my lines, which I'll hold for the next slide. But when it comes to the feedback, Cory, about what David is talking about, you must get feedback from contractors that are supported by ES. Can you touch on that quickly?
We do, yeah. Thanks for the sales pitch, Dave. I appreciate it. But yeah, I just, as Dave went through that and he talked about the community support and services that are offered by, Expediter Services and their program, that it's true. Two that stand out to me, just right off the top of my head are going to be, insurance. Their insurance costs are more than a percentage point, lower than what Panthers are. And it's not that, we have bad insurance, but they have that competitive of a rate. And so that helps our fleet and our owner operators and drivers, see success, along with their fuel discounts. We get fuel discounts at the pump, and theirs seem to be a little bit better somehow. I guess we don't understand how they do it, but it's good. It really is. And ultimately, the success of our owner operators and our fleet is the success of Panther, and Expediter Services has been a key piece in making that happen. So, we're really excited to partner with them. I guess I could reiterate some of the stuff that Dave said. If anybody's out there listening, interested in Panther at all, maybe you just have a quick question, feel free to give us a call. We have opportunities top to bottom, Class A, Class B. We even run some cargo vans. We see folks start out in the cargo van without a CDL. They transition into the straight truck through the tractor, and so we see that as well. So please call if you need anything at all.
Well, let's touch on that here. I mean, we've kind of run through several different concepts, but it sounds like the ES community provides support and leverage. They ask for feedback, they address concerns and follow up so that you know that you're heard. They provide carrier advocacy so business owners can focus on generating revenue and not on day-to-day issues. And they also leverage their experience and their contacts to negotiate and make available a variety of other resources and services to their business community. The motto, which you've heard us share today several times, is that with ES, you never stand alone. I want to expand on a couple of these thoughts that we've discussed today. There's a few questions that have come in, and I want to volley them back to you guys. David, you know, in terms of feedback, we heard about feedback from Panther, but drivers at all levels always tell me on the air and on social that they want to be able to provide feedback. They need to know that they're heard, that there's something being done about their concerns. Can you walk us through what that looks like between ES and Panther?
Yeah, Leah. So, you know, one thing we do here at ES is, and we have surveys and we have various third-party companies that we utilize that helps us talk into the truck, get some conversations generated into the truck on a weekly basis, as well as a monthly basis, the various surveys. And you know, those aren't there to bother anyone. They're not there to get people upset or anything. But we really just want to learn what's going on in the truck, what's happening out there, and if there's any problems. Sometimes, you know, drivers, through my experience of relations and contractor relations and driver relations over the years, drivers sometimes, some of them are scared to ask the question. Some of them are scared of retaliation at some carriers. You know, what we do in terms of the surveys and the third parties we use, you know, those are general questions. They react to them. They send us their comments, and there's no retaliation. There's help. There's assistance, because we literally get those comments and we act on them immediately. We do whatever we can to act on them immediately. And one thing I've always in my career told drivers and you know, really tried to implore to them is that you know, one thing I'm always going to do with my hat of contractor relations in the past, one thing I'm always going to do is I'm always going to answer your question and find an answer to your question. And I'm going to do it, and you may like the answer that comes back. You may not like the answer that comes back, but drivers, I've always found through the years, respect the fact that you answer, you listen, but you also answer their question, whether it be something they do or don't want to hear. And that's what ES does. We are honest with people. We feel like we have a high integrity. Not to say we're any better than anybody. We're not, you know, trying to puff ourselves up. We just believe and stand on integrity and honesty, and we want to do that with people. We literally we take the short end of the stick in a lot of situations. So
you've just identified for me why I fit so well in the community. You know, I worked for 14 years, you know, to help drivers, and I, like professional drivers, can smell a lie. So I can see why there's so much success here in these relationships, because honesty really is so important. And I professionally lead with my integrity, and I know that that's a commonality that I have with the folks at ES. And you've just brought that up. I didn't know you were going to say that, but it certainly leads into it. Anything else you want to add on this one?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, because I didn't want to fail to mention this, but in working, you know, some of those situations and questions we get and issues we get with drivers, good and bad, you know, partner with Panther, you know, they're very open to working with us. So, I mean, we can be back to our honesty and integrity. You know, we can bring a circumstance, an issue to Panther, and they're going to hear it as well at the carrier level. They're going to listen to it, and if they can affect change and do it, they're going to do it. We've seen them do it in the past. So partnering with a carrier like that is very important, and that's the reason, you know, quite honestly, we do partner with Panther.
Excellent. You know, you just said it. I mean, Panther does treat their contractors pretty well, right? We've had a lot of discussions between the three parties here about the honesty and the open communication.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The other thing I wondered earlier when you were talking, and you're not expecting this question, it didn't come in the queue, it's my own, but, you know, in so many years working with ES and working with contractors, as you said, whether you're ready today or you're thinking about it, you know, for tomorrow, figuratively, have you nurtured yourself relationships over a long period of time before someone was ready to take the plunge?
Absolutely. So, you know, we, you know, sometimes there's a timeline that we, in recruiting, that you like to have a pitch, to be able to give the driver and let them know that you know, this is kind of how it works and how it should operate in the good circumstances, in every circumstance. But obviously we don't live in a perfect world, in a perfect environment. So there are, you know, situations where it can extend on a little longer. And, you know, we do our best effort to communicate, to constantly communicate to the truck and to that driver, and, you know, give them the data, give them the information, give them the reasons and the explanations of why, you know, the timeline may be expanded, that you know, it's taken a little longer to reach ownership than maybe, you know, the next guy he saw, or a buddy that came in as well with him at the time, or her. You know, we communicate that to the driver, to the truck level, and then we work with them to not only understand why, but also to figure out how to get around that, and to you know, to work through it, and to meet their goal of owning the truck.
Excellent. There's one other question that I think we really need to get to before we wrap up today, and it strikes me because I keep feeling this when I head to the pump myself. One viewer asks, I'm fearful about rising fuel costs. How do I know that I can make it as an owner-operator? Do you want to touch on that?
Well, you know, Lee, I think that you know, if anybody's listening, and I'm sure I know they have, you know, ES is the place, and Panther is the carrier to do that, to do it safely, to do it in a very low risk, you know, possibility. Again, I go back to, if you go out and buy your own truck and you lease it onto a carrier, there's a lot of fear there. I would have a lot of fear if I was trying to do that right now. But with ES, you can partner with somebody that's going to level the playing field on the fuel cost. They're going to give you the ability to really discount your fuel and to lower that fuel cost. They're going to give you the ability to lower your insurance costs, as Cory pointed to. You know, that's from the carrier level looking at it, and you know, obviously the carrier wants you to would like for you to take their insurance, but it's not always required. So you know, he's letting you know that ES has got, you know, excellent insurance offerings as well, sometimes better than carriers. So, you know, it's just the safety of having a community to support you, and to have the ability to really have a nice soft landing ground in case it doesn't work out for you for whatever reason. We feel like that you know, our owners, we have the ability to surround them with the community, and we see very, very, very much success over time. Not only just with single truck owners, but we've had people that come in and they own multiple trucks now through our financing and through our support system and our services, and doing it at Panther and as their carrier of choice.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Cory. Thank you, Meghan. As identified by one of the fine folks at Panther and echoed today several times, now is the time, and we've discussed at length today why this is the place. I want to thank you for attending. If you are not currently in touch with us, there are a variety of ways that you can be. In addition, by registering with us today, we will automatically remind you of upcoming events, including next in our Insight 2021 series, Start Your Own Trucking Business, where the rubber meets the road, profiling our next motor carrier. ES hopes that you'll take the time to join their community in the variety of ways in front of you. Get in touch, stay in touch. In the meantime, stay safe, well, and connected, as with ES, you never stand alone.